May I just address for the recording that the mayor called the meeting to order about 30 seconds before the recording started and stated that we would review the personnel budget proposal while we wait for the full budget to be coming proposal. All of
On the health and dental and vision, which is 1020, Jill has looked at a new plan, which overall is going to save us some money. She'll explain that to you here in just a minute. Jill, why don't you let her do that? You come explain your health plan to the council.
Do what?
Let her make those copies and explain your health plan.
This is the insurance. So last year's rates were $615.12, as you can see on the top left. And if we had kept the same plan, the rates were going up automatically. There was no way we could get around it. So it was going up to $645.88, and that was with a 70-30 plan, which is not very good. So we picked a new plan altogether that's an 80-20 plan. So those are the amounts in yellow, which is $631.80 a month. So in actuality, it went up, but it actually saved money because we picked a different plan. So it saved $252 annually per employee, saving $5307 for the year for all employees by going with a new, better plan than the old plan that the city had been on for years and years that they weren't even providing anymore, except for people that were grandfathered in. Yeah, and it was not good. It was 70-30. The new plan that's cheaper is 80-20. It has free teledoc, free $50 copays for x-rays, blood work, things like that that the other plan did not have. So that's just a breakdown to show you what it was, what it would have been, and what it is going to be with the new plan that we chose.
Will they have access to the same physicians with this plan?
Yeah, it's still through TML. We're still in a risk pool because we're such a small city. We have to be in with other cities, and the CAD has the same plan. Not the county; they have something else, but. So we're in a pool with a bunch of other small cities to keep the rates down. Even though the rates seem high, they're really not. And also, it's not on here, but it's a better plan for the city, and I don't know when or how this was set up, but the city was not on a tier plan. It was either employee, all family. You couldn't say, I'm an employee and I just want my spouse, or I'm an employee and I just want one child. You had to have all or nothing. So that feature costs an employee like $1,400 to add their whole family, no matter if they had 1 kid or 8 kids. This new plan allows people like Amber, who has 1 child, to add a child for $400 without having to pay that $1,200 fee. So just better options than what were there for years past. So,
Go ahead.
So, and the city's paying this 100%, is that correct?
yes,
We pay our employees 100% insurance.
that's right. Employee only.
Right, but the employees, we
Yes.
we pay, the city pays 100%.
Yes.
Okay.
My question is that the change in plan, is that a council decision or is that in your scope to make that
It's in the administrator's scope.
Okay.
I guess the council could override that to an extent, but, you know, if it's saving money, then,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm not challenging it per se.
yeah.
I
So
just-
we have open enrollment
clarify.
every, August to September. So open enrollment actually comes before budget. So I kinda have to know by September 15th where we're going with it. So we can get locked into those rates with the risk pool.
The existing insurance that we have now is no longer gonna be in effect. We're not gonna have that option for that plan per se. So we'd have to look at a different one regardless.
Did we do a cost of living raise last year
No,
No.
across the board?
No, ma'am.
When's the last time we did a cost of living raise?
I don't know before me. I know we did not last year, so I'm assuming 2 years ago.
We budgeted for one 2 years ago, but the way it was administered, it was not truly a COLA raise. So we never really went into it.
What does that mean?
Well, COLA is across the board, 3%
Yeah,
for every employee.
right, I do
Okay.
understand that, but what,
During the previous administration,
what did she?
we agreed to it, and yet she doled it out at her discretion, rather than administer.
Amber.
We
wanted to do it.
we budgeted for it. The number of employees had, we're not budgeting for, oh wait, there's 2 new hires there in streets, new hires in parks that we're budgeting for. Can you talk to us a
That's
little bit
actually,
about that?
it's not new per se, it's existing openings that we have that have not been filled.
Okay,
So the vacancies at this time.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you'll notice too, for instance, under, let's just take J on page 1, you'll see that its salary is 50% admin, 25% water, and 25% wastewater, and that's true for various of our employees all the way through, so.
I have a question about the mythical city council pay. We talked about how you can't refuse it, that you can just not cash the check, but it looks like you have to pay income tax on it. So you're actually costing you money rather than getting money. Is that correct?
Yes.
What's costing the city, because we're, as far as income tax, yes, but we don't have income tax coming out of our house, we have enough. But our social security and Medicare do come out.
No, I'm talking about the individual on the council.
We have to declare it.
You'll get a W-2.
So we're not doing us any favors by, with this alleged $600, if nobody's gonna accept it, we can make it $1.
You can do anything you want to.
I think some people do accept it.
I mean,
I think some people do accept it.
yeah, that is true, and two, that is coming up on another, as a resolution on a future council meeting.
Well, we discussed it, I think Jay is giving, giving a lot of our attorneys, a lot of questions yesterday. The reason for this is the emolument, which is like being paid dual office holder. If you're a paid office holder as a city council member, you cannot hold another elected office such as commissioner or,
Another paid office, you can't hold 2 paid offices.
so that is the whole point in the salary. And is there a reason why you couldn't take that money and give it to the boards and girls club or saving children's raise or whatever thing you'd like to?
Well, I've never been offered money, but regardless, if I did that, what I'm saying is if you turn it down, you still have to pay taxes because it's recorded as income.
I was just agreeing with them, yeah, you do have to do that. I haven't the last couple of 2.5 years that I've been in because I've refused the check, so I haven't received payment at all.
Yeah.
When we discussed this previously, I was told that if you didn't pick up the check would be canceled. So if you send me a W-40 saying I had $600 paid to me, what are you basing it on? Cancel
The check that was issued to you? You know, I
That's
suggested
that's
that.
false information because I did not accept anything.
I suggested,
This is
with that
about
conversation,
$200,000.
remember, that when the check, it just dies at the bank, then write it off. Amber said she couldn't avoid it, but she could write it off, so then you wouldn't get a W-2 because you didn't, your check didn't go.
So the only salary increase we're seeing is the 3% COLA across the board, with the exception of those of us here. And then the only other change in personnel is the reduction in the insurance.
That's all I have.
And remember the TMRS, the Texas Workforce Commission, the workman's comp, these things are all set by the state of Texas. We have no choice, so we've got to fund it.
Jill, I
Yeah.
have some, about the insurance. Can you get this insurance and not have the vision and dental and just have the health?
You can, yes.
Did you know it's really not very many places that pay 100% insurance anymore? They're usually, and I know I've brought this up before, usually the employees pay half. If
Most
they want
cities
the insurance.
most cities pay 100% of the employees' health insurance. We did a survey on it in, one of the last workshops I was in. They did a municipality, and most municipalities pay 100% of the employees' medical insurance.
I don't know about small cities, but, okay.
And this was in effect when I came here, so I don't know how long it's been.
Yeah, I know,
happening,
they've been doing it
but,
for a while.
Yeah,
Does, the city pay any part of the family?
no.
What about for council members who elect to get the insurance? The city wouldn't cover 100% of that.
No.
That would be totally on the council members.
As far as I know, yes.
Yeah.
Since I've been here, no council
Which
member
is-
has ever taken
right.
it, and I haven't found that
And which
in,
is why it's not in the
but
budget.
it is available to council members.
I'm sorry, we'll go back along, we'll go on to, tonight says we're still hammering out some of the numbers in the expenditure end. I'd like to go over the revenue. I'd like Jay to explain to you how he got his projection. And if you look at the same form we've always used, it's the last 3 years plus the coming fiscal year, so. Jay, you wanna start with property tax?
Well, property tax, what we've done is, because we've had one major player come in, which is Tractor Supply, which is gonna boost our property tax a good little bit. But at the trend, we're gradually going up, and we took this number. It's an estimate, of course, with Tractor Supply, because we don't know. We received nothing from them this year, but we received everything from them coming forward from now on. So that's why we threw that number in there. We won't know
Do they
exactly.
have an appraised value with the CAD?
I have not seen it yet. Like I say, it probably is there, but I have not had a chance to see it yet. Of course, the hotel and other things, is a whole different story. But, we're hoping that other things will come up. Now, of course, nobody can predict the future on that, but like I said, property tax is going up, unfortunately, for everybody that's paying for property. Like I said, the 420 that we plugged in there is only an estimate. I'm saying we're probably 5% one way or another on it. I don't know that yet for 100%, but I will in the next week or two. Sales tax, of course, the 550 we're predicting there. That is not including what is also goes to the EDC. So we're projecting a total of around 825 for the year, which is, every month our sales tax has gone up. It's been a very good year so far. And then some other ones in here, of course, you can see our building permits have gone up, especially on the commercial side. It has gone up quite a bit. Although we did budget a lower number than what we've actually brought year to date, because we don't know if it's going to continue to go like that. So that's a conservative number. Yes, ma'am?
Did you skip over hotel tax and the franchises
Yes.
intentionally? I guess
Yes.
that's what, okay.
Well, the cable, the electric, the gas, they're pretty steady. I mean, it's a pretty constant number.
May I ask a question about that?
I'll do my best to answer.
Do we have actual franchise agreements in the office somewhere?
Yes, ma'am.
And when is the last time those were reviewed and maybe updated?
The only one that, since I've been
I
here,
think
that's
the
been
cable
reviewed
company is
is
making a lot more money in Bandera than.
cable. The new House bill stuff is gonna hurt us on that. Telecom and cable's gonna hurt us on
Okay.
that.
The House bill, which House bill is that, do you know?
I don't remember the number.
Okay.
We have it in there, but
One,
the only one, like I say, since I've been here that I've discussed is with electric with BEC.
okay.
And what I would like to do moving forward, which won't affect us this year, but maybe next year, is when we renegotiate a garbage contract, is include franchise fees into that, where, you know, we would get something coming back that way also.
Does Republic see that, or do various waste companies see that in
Yeah.
communities they serve?
And I have discussed it just briefly with Terry Golick. Of course, he's not the one that will make the decisions,
Mhm.
but he did say that it has been done through Republic with other cities too.
I should check
It wouldn't be, well, I
In
don't, never,
Ingram.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Ingram, they,
It pass it
Republic's,
off.
yeah, see if they do it
But you get
there.
billed directly by Republic.
Right.
Our customers do not.
Right.
That's where we would benefit on the franchise fee
Right.
when we get there.
Well, they'll pass it along to the consumer one way or another.
Sure. And you know, as we all know, they have been going up yearly, which is projected in their contracts, you know, that they do have an anticipation of an increase every year through the 5-year contract. Okay. Any more questions on that one?
We're not expected to, we've got some zeros in permits through here.
Yeah, and a lot of those are just gonna, we're gonna clean this up to where it's either gonna be a commercial or residential permit. It'll be noted what type, if you wanna put an air conditioner in your building for a business, it will be noted that way, but it's not gonna be broken down
line
line
item.
item like that. Animal control, that's not a big money maker for the city. We do have a lot of people though that come in and rescue their animals, which is great.
Yeah.
And, you know, the peddlers permits, vendors, that's pretty steady. It's usually the same group, kind of peaks and valleys on it depending on weather. And then, of course, you know, we don't really have a lot during the winter that bring in anything on that side either. On page 2, if you've gotten that far yet, go ahead, Rebecca.
So, and it may be somewhere else, but the special event permit, would that be like the street closure? Did we put that,
Well,
doing
when
that?
county miscellaneous permits is kind of clean, it's bringing everything in that one group. I think 11th Street has the one permit, parade permit that they have, which is kind of a special event. And then
Sound.
also, what,
Sound.
yeah, sounds, and some street closures in there also.
Speaking of street closures, I think we need to look into that because I'm not sure that we've been charging that street closure fee. And we do put our employees out there on
We have to
weekends
pay them
and
to work,
we
right?
need to get that covered. Although he uses the event for a fundraiser, I think we still need to look into that a little bit more.
Right, because otherwise it's a gift of public funds to, I mean, it'd be one thing if the city didn't have to provide any kind of service, but the city
Right.
does have to block the
We have to
streets,
block
pick
the
up the
streets, and
trash.
of course, a little extra patrol for the marshals also during that event.
Well, we will be looking at a fee schedule before we adopt the final version of the budget, so we'll take a look at that again.
And you can see, you know, like the chipping fee, we don't have a lot of money in that. We have very few people that actually want us to come out and chip. We have done some, but it usually was someone that was unable to get someone there in a timely manner, or, you know, just flat didn't want to mess with it and just said, hey, I've got a limb out here, will y'all come chip it up? A lot of times we'll go by, if it's small limb, we'll chip it, pick it up, take it down, put it in a pile and chip later, and go that route instead of going through the chipping issue.
Yeah.
And one thing I would like to, it's nothing we've even started really in the works, it's been discussed between Public Works, myself and a few others, is we have a huge chipping truck. We don't need that chipping truck. That's probably a $90,000 truck, maybe more. We don't use it. Why it was bought, I don't know. I'm sure with great intentions. But, you know, in the future, we would like to look maybe at either selling that to purchase some other type of equipment that can be used throughout the city that's more universal than just that truck. We can haul all the chips we chip up in the back of a dump truck. And, you know, to me, it's a great truck, it's in great shape, but it's a lot more than what we need or could use.
So that's a piece of equipment that's more appropriate, like for a county road crew.
Yes, ma'am, or a tree trimming service, or,
Right.
you know, someone that does the high lines or right of ways. But that's things, that, you know, that we'd like to look at in the future,
That's a good idea.
to, you know, utilize.
Anybody have any institutional knowledge of when that shipping truck was bought? Rilla?
Yes. I could guess, but I bet Don Clark had something.
It's a fairly new truck, it's probably, I'm gonna say 5 to 7 years old.
I was gonna say, you might start looking a little further back.
Okay. Onward.
Next, we're at Marshall revenue.
I'll let Will kind of comment on that, and
The one thing I can tell you right now is I see the Leo's training funds is showing a 0. We never really know until we get the check from the comptroller's office, but that should show a $1,200 to $1,400 number there, just based on what it normally is every year. The report revenue is for open records, offense, and accident reports and stuff. We just kind of have to go by what is gone in the past, because it could be more, it could be less, depending on how many reports people request. We have actually had to start charging for funeral escorts due to some stuff, and so that's the Marshall's miscellaneous revenue. That's why it's up in the $3,200. I cannot tell you why in the past that it was $2,000 and $3,000. I don't know what was being put into that under, and I'm sure Amber probably might be able to, but that was all before her time as well. So I don't know what was being collected and what was put into those columns in previous years, but I can tell you that why that number is high this year. It's because we've been charging, because we were providing a public service to a private business, and it was fairly small, but it's grown and grown and grown and taken more and more time, and we've had to start charging them. It's working out much better. They're making much more efficient use of our time, as well as compensating the city for it. So that's why I know why it's that this year. I just can't speak to why it was the last 2 years.
And that, I guess is that common practice throughout the state?
Yes, ma'am. I checked with Carville, where Grimes also has an office, and got the amounts that they charge Grimes as well as the other funeral homes over there. And then honestly, I split it in half and what they charge. Then spoke to them at Grimes, and they were amicable. The biggest problem we were having is they were calling the morning of or 15 minutes beforehand, or leaving an officer sitting up there for an hour. And I made it commensurate. If they give us a couple days warning, it's cheaper. If they wait till the last minute, it's more expensive. And but either way, it's half the price of what it is for them at Carville.
How much do you charge?
Well, most of the funeral services just go from the chapel to the city cemetery, which just, usually just takes 10 or 15 minutes. It's $50. Which, like I said, is half what the minimum that they charge in Kerrville.
Right.
And it just goes up depending on how much longer, if it's to get out to Pipe Creek, so we get them all the way through town and out past Dairy Queen. If they give us advance notice of at least a day, it's $100. But if they wait till the day of, then it's $200 for that, would cost double.
Well, that sounds more efficient.
Yeah, I didn't really know that you had to pay for that, but it makes sense that you would because you're
It's a
using,
service.
yeah, it's a service. Public service.
Well, like I said, when we were having maybe one funeral a
Yeah.
month, they've gone through a lot of personnel changes, and it was becoming, like I said, we were ending up with an officer sitting down there for an hour or longer.
No, I
And then the
understand.
funeral wouldn't leave then, and it was just becoming a real issue.
And why do we have this line item, the Marshall Department revenue with nothing, no activity in it? The, 10-304-00,
The first one.
yeah, first one.
We are working this time around on budget, since we're getting started early, to clean some of the stuff up. I was mostly working on the expense side, but can make sure we get some of these things cleaned up that are unnecessary on the revenue side as well. Kind of doing some housekeeping, so yeah, it's on my list of stuff.
So for current fiscal year, the court, budget was projected a lot higher, it seems, than what is happening, so, I guess that explains the reduction in the requested budget.
Yeah, and I don't have the total number, exact number yet back from Jeanette. One reason is, we didn't, there wasn't as many tickets written for one thing, for whatever reasons. Maybe people are learning to slow down. But, and Will may have some more insight on that, but just from what I've heard and talked with Jeanette a little bit about, that's the main reason is.
And remember too, looking at this, that this is not re-estimated projected out for the end of the fiscal year. We still got 6 weeks left of it. So these, although these are real numbers, those
Is
will
it end
change.
of quarter?
Hmm?
Are these end of quarter numbers?
This is
or
as of, what did you run this?
what?
Well, the end of the last month is when these numbers are
Okay.
good for.
Okay, these are July?
Yeah, we can't even, it won't even print a report for August yet because the month
Oh, it
hasn't
says
ended.
August 31st, I thought maybe it was.
Right, but
That's
it's
just
actually
today's
July.
date. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you still got 2 more months.
Park revenue.
Park has been doing very, very well this year. It is starting to slow down. Of course, school is starting. River is not running near as much either. Last week, I think we averaged a little over $2,000 a day, 2,100, is that right? For that, and, we have three more weekends, I believe. 2.
Two
And the holiday, yeah. And as we now, we no longer go past Labor Day, where before they did go a couple weeks into September, but last year it wasn't beneficial to go. There was nobody coming, to the park at that time. So, it's entirely up to council if they think we should go farther. And I think it's all gonna depend on weather and river.
And the
So
river,
far.
yeah.
How many people are staffing on a given day?
We have 4 people now. And
But now that it's slowed down, it's 3.
And most of those are picking up trash. Usually have one at the gate, alternate off, but most of them are out picking up trash around the park and maintaining the grounds and the restrooms.
Are those, how are they paid?
Hourly,
So they're
just
just
part-time
considered
employees.
part-time
Yes, ma'am.
employees?
Mhm.
Couple of high school, well, that, yeah, they were Did they graduate last year?
One did, there's
One
one
did.
still in high school,
There's two.
two still in high school, one graduated, yes.
And then who's the, kinda like the director there, what's his name?
Chuck Shorter.
Chuck?
Mhm.
He's been there a long time, right?
He's come back every year for a couple of years now.
He's been there for 3 years at least.
So with this Riverfest income line item, I noticed that we didn't project anything in the current budget. But things went a lot better this year, it feels overall with Riverfest, and the city was able to,
Mhm.
you know, have the part of the park open to the public, accessible, and then the Riverfest folks had barbecue cookers down on that end too. And do we anticipate that, would you, if it were your choice, which I hope it is, would you operate things the same way or
A
similarly?
little different.
A little different.
I know Riverfest has expressed some wanting to do some changes as far as moving to the other end of the park.
Oh,
Then we just have to look and see, cause it'll fit their barbecue cookers, they claim better. To me, they're losing a lot of shade and stuff, but I mean, that's their choice. You know, we budgeted a little bit more this coming year because I think we're gonna negotiate a little bit better. You know, last year it was, for a while, it was iffy if they wanted to even have Riverfest, and then they decided, and then, you know, we made an agreement with them. They come through, they done great, they followed all the rules basically that we wanted. I don't believe Will and them had any issues with them.
The couple of people that I spoke to and Vicky, they were all very, very happy with the way things worked out with the Wordfest this year.
So I'm hoping that, you know, we can benefit and move forward and grow that number. And like I said, you know, we might negotiate some things a little bit different to, not to make more money, but to make it more even across the board for everybody. And the park pavilion rentals, you know, that's pretty common since I've been here. Not a lot of them are rented. Usually it's first come, first served. There is some birthday rentals, some, I know Easter had a couple of rentals on that. But, I mean, that's a pretty constant number on that. Things picked up a little bit. You know, people have asked if we could furnish water and electricity, which is actually already there. I just think there wasn't the knowledge that it was.
But the faucets are locked, right?
Yes,
They're
we
locked,
are,
so you would
because
have to,
if you
they would
do-
have to call the
right.
city to
Yes,
get
and
them
we,
unlocked and used.
what we do on that is we make them pay a deposit because it is a special key to open that
Right.
hydrant. So that way they're more likely to bring that back and not keep it.
but they only get that if they rent
Mm.
Correct, yes, ma'am.
it. I'm ready to turn pages. You guys?
On page 3,
Yes.
Citibank rebate. And what we have done there is, we have Citibank credit card, we get cash back for purchases. So what we've done is we've set aside a couple of credit cards to pay Republic. And we pay them about $30,000 a pop. So we're gonna get them to pay us back some of that out of that Citibank rebate. I think Discovery, you know, is another one that offers that, and BEC, we also do what we can on that. So we can actually get a little income coming back for using that card.
Well done.
Thank you for thinking of
So
that.
if you look on page 3, you'll see our total projected income into the general fund is $1,360,274. For the revenue in the
Page 30,
general fund, page 30.
any questions to start off with?
Tell me what took us to page 30, what did you say?
This is the revenue for the utility side.
Ah, thank you. I thought I heard you repeat general fund.
I probably did.
Okay. Sorry. There we go.
Any questions to start off?
And all of this is without any kind of increase or. you
Well,
have a
some of it has
increase?
projected increases, but, you know, that will be up to council as to whether they want to increase, how much, where, when, things like that. One number that is not correct on here is 50-30602. It's a requested 200,900, that should be 198,580, the same as
Oh,
the
the same.
current. Yes, ma'am. And also 50-30606. No, I'm sorry, that one is correct, 12778.
If we have our next budget workshop, we will get into the rates. We're meeting with Derek on Thursday to get his input, and we'll have more information for you about all of this good stuff.
Is there a reason why we're dropping, so the 606 water service fee commercial outside the city limits, that's dropping? Do we just have fewer customers out there, some businesses
And-
closing?
And I think if you drive through town and around town, a lot of people are using a lot of water outside, per se, to water the grass, stuff like that. Of course, commercial businesses don't necessarily use a lot of water outside unless, you know, they do have a lawn or something like that. But, you know, Tripp's Tire, for example.
Wait, you're
wouldn't be
saying inside or outside?
outside?
We're talking about inside and outside
City
of the city limits, right?
Yes, ma'am, in ETJ.
Okay, not outside as in outdoors.
No, I'm sorry, no, ETJ and city
I
limits.
thought you just said though that they're not watering outside.
Well, they're not.
That's why they're
That's
using
not what we're
less,
talking
that's why
about.
the numbers are down, because they're running less.
You know, a lot of times, and, you know, that most cities benefit during hot weather, especially on the utilities. We don't necessarily see a huge increase. There is a little bit of an increase, but it's not a huge number compared to other
And that
cities.
wouldn't necessarily be the. And I see you added in the water franchise fees again, that's a projection.
Yes, them are just numbers that we plugged in there just to start with.
And what number was that based on?
$10 franchise fee.
Per
water-
account?
Per account,
Across
water,
the
and then
board.
$10 wastewater.
Okay. Oh, that's a $20 per bill.
Right, like I say, we just plugged some numbers in there to start with.
Quite a number.
I thought we were kind of just discussing like $2 or $3 or $3
Well,
to $5.
we are, like I said, we just put a number there and have a number to start with. Well, you can see how much this dollar will generate, and if you lowered or raised it, what that would
I
generate
understand.
from there.
Jay, all these businesses that have backflow preventers,
Yes, sir.
they're required to be tested yearly,
Mhm.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Is that something that our code enforcement does check on?
Yes, sir.
So it's
Yep.
creating an expense for us.
Yes, sir. It is, and we can also look at, you know, charging a yearly fee for that backflow preventer, for example. Grease traps is another one that's an issue that we have to address on a regular basis.
Could I get in here? At my business, he developed a file, I bring him a copy of my, fire suppression system inspection, my fire safety inspection. Every time my grease, not my grease trap, but my grease trap is emptied and, my annual backflow preventer inspection. So he's working toward getting all of these things in one place, but I've just volunteered to bring him mine.
And we found, you know, a lot of people didn't realize or was never notified that they had to, turn in a manifest when they had a grease trap pumped, or if they had a backflow preventer to bring in the proper paperwork and turn it into the city. And we had some that I'm not sure ever had their grease trap ever pumped.
Some of those businesses been there a long, long,
True,
long
they have,
time.
and I mean, it's not just a Bandera thing,
Yeah,
it's across the country, but.
I'm just making light
No,
of it, but you're
actually,
right.
we are working
That
on
needs to
that
be
to where
taken
we,
care of.
right. And,
Well, I have noticed it's gotten better with, businesses not dumping grease in their dumpsters.
mhm. Well, they have
How'd you
found out
notice
that they
that?
can be cited.
How'd you notice that?
But when I walk and start sliding, then I look around and see.
And one line item, which not a huge thing, but 30620 bulk water, we were finding people pulling up, popping fire hydrant
Helping
caps and
themselves.
filling up their trucks and stuff, so we now make them come in, put up a deposit, and then we will put a meter on the fire hydrant where we can meter that and charge them for it.
That's the way people thought that they could do that.
Okay, why aren't we giving the effluent of the wastewater plant instead of our drinking water?
Well, for one thing, we're not permitted to do that as of yet. Now, we can be, simple paperwork and TCQ approval. Another thing is we may not have enough water for that. Of
We
course,
could always start there, though.
sure, we can. We do not generate a lot of wastewater, so it's not gonna be a huge number that we would, you know, have trucks lined up to get it. But it can be used. TCQ has cracked down on a lot of those regulations. Used to, everybody got reclaimed water for dust suppression on roads, road work, stuff like that. Now, it's a little bit harder to do that. But like I said, we can do that with the right permitting.
What are we charging them for 1,000, or how are we charging them?
I don't remember what our rate is off the top of my head. It's on our fee schedule.
You know, if I see somebody popping a fire hydrant, I'd rather see them arrested and put in jail than to give them water, our drinking water.
Right, right. But we do, you know, we do make them come pay a deposit if they want water, and then, of course, we meter the water and charge them for that.
Hang on, Glenn.
Yeah, I know in the past, the county work crew, street road crew, they were getting the recycled, reclaimed water, but I don't think we were charging them
I
anything.
don't think we were either then, but, I mean, this stealing from the city is ridiculous. And for them to go just down the road. Go ahead. Ruby.
Are the hydrants still, I mean, can they still just drive up and pop one open?
They can, basically, just a pipe wrench, you know, we'll get one open, and it's not a special tool,
But it-
unfortunately, that you have to have to
It's
open.
not like on the cartoons though, where it just comes shooting out. How do
Depends
they?
on, well, you can, they're set up, you got two small 2.5 inch and usually a 4.5 inch, which is what they call a pumper nozzle. The people now coming up, they've got hoses, they screw right up to it, fill their tanks or trucks, whatever they may have. And the biggest problem we found earlier when we started this was people that was doing a lot of boring work, and I don't know exactly where in the county, but they would come and trying to help themselves to a lot of hydrants.
Do we have
What?
a?
I'm sorry.
Oh, excuse me. No, you don't.
Are they still going down to the river in certain places, and pulling the water out here in town like they were?
We have not seen it, not saying that they're not, but
Rebecca.
What is the fine if someone gets caught stealing water from a hydrant? do we have,
Well, it's just theft, but it's a very low dollar amount. It's a Class C unless, I mean,
is there something that the city can do to
Why don't
implement?
we get back to the budget, and let's
Okay.
take that up on council.
Well, that's a valid point, I mean, because if
It
we're
would
losing
affect the
money,
budget.
even, right.
Yeah. But I really believe that's a council discussion.
Yeah, it was just a question though.
But
So we
it
don't-
is considered theft, so they, a Class C misdemeanor, so they would be fined up to $500.
I'm happy to move on. Meter test. So this flying L, these line items, those go away?
Yeah, they have not been used
Obsolete.
in, I don't know how many years.
Okay. Let's see. We don't have any utility deposit revenue?
Not at this time. We will be setting that up. If you, something that we've all learned, if you charge a deposit for a utility, it must be put in a non-interest bearing account. So you cannot make money off of it or say in a way. The only way you can is if you pay a deposit $100 for your services. And we have it written in an ordinance to where you're late 3 times in a year or something like that, you would not be eligible to get your deposit. But it's very tricky wording. I've spoke with Dan about it a couple of times. He recommends unless you just have a huge number, you know, that not mess with it. And then again, we do take on the final bill, we will take what is owed if necessary and out of the deposit and then refund the balance back to them.
Are we just gonna be taking that recycling income line out completely too, or are you just gonna leave that in there in case it ever happens again?
We will probably leave it in there for maybe 1 or 2 reasons. If we ever do recycling, which not saying we will and not saying we won't.
Right.
And also, we could look at that too on the water side as far as the reclaim if we need to. We would probably not, but we could use it if we needed to.
Revenue, huh?
So basically, we've got $1,762,871 in projected estimated revenue. But guys, this is a $3 million budget, and when I was on council first in 2015, we had a $2 million, not quite a $2 million budget. So our revenues are going up. We are expanding our economic base as well as our customer base, and I think we're making progress. You wanna let that be it for tonight, or you wanna start taking departments apart?
Well, do you guys have the rest of our workshop slated for certain?
Yes, ma'am. We
So
have
this
a,
is what we were expected to cover tonight, was the revenue side.
yes, ma'am. We have tax.
I just wanted to kind of get an overview of the revenue tonight, and so when you're home looking at this, you kind of know, where we are, and you see the bottom lines, and especially if you're looking at this, you have an idea. Because the total payroll is, I believe that's 328,637, but that's not unusual. In fact, that's really a little bit less than average for cities our size. Most cities spend 70% of their payroll on, of the revenue on payroll. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
That's a motion to adjourn. Second, any discussion? All in favor? All in favor, not opposed. 6:42, I'm adjourning this workshop.